Hello everyone, this is Julie with Craft with Julie, and it is time for another YouTube sketch hop with my crafty friends. This month, Jessica chose our sketch. She did a 2-pager with the theme of outdoors. When I first saw this sketch, I was like, perfect, this is adorable. I have a million cat photos that I can scrapbook, but then she gave us the theme outdoors, so I had to pivot a little bit. But we could do both pages or just one. And I think I'm just going to do the right side today. And the photos that I'm going to scrap are pictures of a hike my family and I took back in, like, I want to say is 2021. That on that spring break, we just did different hikes that were around where we live. So some local activities, and this was one of the hikes that we did, and it's not actually too far away from us, but it's kind of up in the mountains. You kind of have to know what you're looking for, and then there's this fun little waterfall at the end. So I dug into my stash to kind of see what I had that might go for outdoors and work with my photos, and I found some really fun pattern papers. I wrote down their names so I can remember. So I found these blue ones, and it's green, and also this one. So all of these are in one collection. It's called Take to the Sky. It has the airplanes, if you remember the airplane paper. It's been out for a little while. There's the airplanes. But I thought these fun colors would definitely work with my photos. At first I was going for like the browns and the greens. But if you look at my photos, there's actually quite a bit of blue with the sky and like what we're wearing. So I thought the blue might look nice. And then this is actually part of that same collection. It's has a pattern on the back, and then there was I want to say like 4x6 cards, and then these tags, and I thought those were super cute too. So I pulled those out, and then I pulled out one of my favorite collections, which is Country Woods, and I was like, I could definitely use like the dark wood in that collection. Well, this is the only piece of dark wood I have left, so if I do use it, I'll have to use it sparingly. But I have a lot of the lighter wood, so maybe I'll go back and check that out as well. And then this one, I dug deep. This one is from right when we joined Stampin' Up. It's the Sweet Days of Autumn paper, and it's actually on the Last Chance section. Last Chance is a fancy word for like clearance, so you'll find a lot of good deals over in that section, and I'll put a link down below if you want to check it out. But this is has this on this side and this on this side, and there's stickers and all kinds of fun things that go with that. So these are the not the pictures, the papers I pulled out to kind of see what direction I want to go in. And then I dug into my stash of stamps. I don't have a ton of Stampin' Up ones quite yet. I slowly but surely I'm getting a collection, but this one I love. It has these trees right here. We're not camping, but I really like these trees, so I might use that one. And then I brought in a couple from Close to My Heart. I still have a bunch of Close to My Heart stamps. I like this one that says Picture Perfect, or Life's Adventures Waiting Out There. That might be cute to go along with maybe this photo. This one has this die cut that has the mountains, so that's what drew me to this one. And then this stamp set, it's kind of hard to see probably, has a lot of fun different words, like group shot, fun times, so like little arrows. So I might use some of those. So there, I have a lot of different options. I'm not quite sure where we're gonna go with this yet, but stick around and let's work on the sketch. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I think I have a direction I wanna go in. So I am going to start with a white base, and then I am going to layer these two colors. I decided on the blue because I wanted to use that blue pattern and it just looks so good. So I'm actually going to cut this like a 1/2 inch off, and hopefully this will work out for what I'm thinking. So let's put that down, and then if I did that a 1/2 inch, let's do this one 3/4 because I don't want to cut off too much, just in case. I always like to err on the cautious side and see how this works. Okay, see if those are the right sizes, and I think that, yep, that's exactly what I was thinking. Look how, okay, so I really like how that looks. So let's go ahead and lay this down. Just gonna add some adhesive right onto the back. This is Night of Navy cardstock. So pretty. And it coordinates with that blue pattern I'm going to use here in just a minute. And then this one is from the Take to the Sky. I love the look of the map and like the white in there. Okay, so then this sketch has a section right down the middle like that. I can't decide. I guess this is 6.5. Maybe I will cut this down to 6 just so it's proportioned. I guess I really didn't have to do that, but I'm going to add this right to the center. And this one is from the Country Woods collection. So I've actually pulled out a lot of different things from a lot of different places to create this layout. So if I line it up with the 3-inch and the 9-inch, then we should be right on for the center. Okay, so now the sketch has a piece of, looks like pattern paper across the center. The sketch actually is more towards the center, but I'm going to bring it back out because I'm just doing the one page. So this one is also from Take to the Sky. Look at how cute that is. Little airplanes. And I'm going to put this in the center. I cut this one at 5.5 by 11. And it's going to work. You know what, actually, I think I want it a little bit smaller. Actually, no, because I've already measured it. So we're just going to do that across the center. And then it shows kind of your photos, but I wanted to map my photos. So I'm going to add a piece of white. And this one, it measures 10 inches by 4.5. My photos are 3 by 4. And so this will work out perfectly. Okay, set that in the center, and then let me grab my photos. Like I said earlier, this was from a hike that we took as a family over spring break. My son actually told us about this hike. I guess at the time he was in high school, and I guess it was a high school thing to do is go on this hike. So he showed us the way, and it had a fun little waterfall at the end. So in the sketch, it shows kind of like the photo is smaller and it looks almost like a mat. And so I'm like, I'm gonna bring color to the center as well. I went with Mossy Meadow first, and it was just too green. I'm like, why don't I just bring back some of that midnight? Is that what I I just said it a second ago. The blue color, and use that to mat my photo in the center. So I'm going to do that. I'm just gonna try to eyeball it a little bit. Okay, and then I can add my photos. Again, I cut these at, or yes, they are 3 by 4. I printed them. I didn't cut them. I printed them on my Epson 400 printer. I love it. It makes scrapbooking so much easier for me. I don't have to wait for them to be processed, and I can just choose what I need and just print what photos I need. I'll put a link to all the products that I used in the description down below so you can check them out. So that, I think I have my base with all the different layers, and it looks like, yep, I think I've got all the different things. There was some splatters right here, and I just noticed that, but I think I'm okay with leaving those off. So I did cut a few things from those sets that I showed you earlier. This one is a die cut. Look how cute that is. And it's out of the Close to My Heart, what's the name of this one? S'more Adventures. It has the one standalone die cut. And I thought I'll just do it in two different grays and then maybe paper piece them together. But I think I'm going to use them separately. So we have those. And then I did cut a bunch of trees from, where did it go? The Adventure Together. There it is right there. And I did do some second generation stamping on that. And I'm just going to quickly show you how that works if you're not sure. So I have my tree, and I'm going to grab just a scratch piece of paper, which just happens to be some other things I stamped. And I did it in Mossy Meadow because that's the same color as this background. And how I made the two different colors is I'm going to stamp this at full strength. And then again, that's second generation. I think there might be other names for that, but I call it second generation. So now you have the two different colors of green. So that's how I did my trees. And I just cut a bunch out because I wasn't sure exactly how many I would need. And then I stamped a few options for a title. And then I also cut this out of the Link Together dies. Look how fun that is. And it has little dots around the edge, giving it a little bit of texture. And this set actually is on the Last Chance section too. So there's a lot of good things over there you probably want to check out. And then I have some accents. So let's go ahead and start adding some of these fun things to our page. I did bring some ink, and I think I'm going to use it to ink up the edges of the mountains. So this one is gray granite. So let me start with that one. So I just have one blending brush and add some to the edge. So make them pop a little bit more. And then this one actually pops out, so I can edge that one as well. And I don't know if this will show. Yep, I'm just going to stick with the same one. I do have the smaller, this is Pebbled Path cardstock. And I do have the smaller version, but I'll just keep with the same one. And just add a little color to those edges. Oh, I have a runaway tree. Make sure we get all of our trees. Okay, put those aside. And on the sketch, there is like a little section right here. Let me bring this back down, sorry. And this is where I'm going to put my mountains. And I think I'm going to just stick them right behind there. I'm not going to push real hard yet to make sure I get them where I want them, and then I will kind of push them down. Just scooch that down, maybe something like that. I think that looks good. And then let's add some trees. So I have my different shades. Let's add a couple up here, maybe one or two over here, and do the different shades. And I'm going to use 3D foam on these ones. So let me grab some pieces of that. I like to use the edge of the Dimensionals because they, after you're done with all of the inside, you can use the outside as well. Okay, and let's do the small one. Now with these trees, I did stamp and then die cut. For me, it was easier to line them up. With Close to My Heart, I usually do it the opposite way. So I'm learning something new and a new way to do things because it's just, for some reason, the stamps are just easier to line up when you stamp first. For me anyway. Maybe it's different for other people. Okay. And then we have those ones. Okay, so I have that little section. Now for my title, I couldn't decide between Gone Exploring or Be Right Back, and I did stamp them in the different colors. So the stamp set I used is This Way to Paradise from Close to My Heart, and it does pair up with a Cricut cartridge, but I'm just gonna fussy cut it. So I couldn't decide which one I wanted to go with. And then also I have this little guy that I want to put somewhere for my journaling. So maybe while I think about that, let's do the journaling square real quick. So I'll grab my ruler and scooch this up and a journaling pen. And let's just line this up so we get it straight. Okay, and then I can kind of start down a little bit and carefully scooch down. We can make the lines a little bit longer as we go and have a fun shape to our journaling. Okay, I think maybe one more. There we go. And I still haven't decided which title, but I think I think I'm gonna do the Gone Exploring, Be Right Back because it is a little bit darker, and then I can darken those edges with some ink. And I like the shape of it. So let's do that. And just fussy cut around the edge, leaving a little bit of the white showing. One more, there we go. And I did have this little guy, so maybe I'll cut him out too. I love a little date. I don't even know what this would be called, but it was in this stamp set right here, the Lovin Right Now from Close to My Heart. And I'm actually quite happy that I have kept a lot of those sets around because I am going back to them and I'm still using them. So get those old sets out and see what other fun things you can create with them. And mix and match with Stampin' Up. Okay. All right, so let's grab our early espresso, because that's what we stamped in, was the early espresso. Oops, there goes some things. And we're just going to add a little bit of ink around the edges. And I could actually add a little bit in the center too, just like that. And then let's do it on this little guy as well. And then I can put the date. And I love that my pictures tell me what the date is, because of course I can't remember. So maybe I'll just tuck that in, maybe like right there. We'll hold that for a second. Okay, so in the sketch, it has like a little bone right here. So maybe I'll put my title right there. But then I have this little section of goodness here. So I'm thinking maybe I need to do it across the way. So let's see how this looks. I mean, I could do, or I could, okay, maybe I will do it like that and maybe add some extra trees to kind of tie them together. What do we think? Yeah? Okay, let's do that. I was hoping I'd have it all figured out before I started, but you know how sometimes things just kind of change as you go? It happens to me seriously every time I scrapbook. So I'm gonna add that. Gone exploring, be right back. I'm going to actually attach this one just right underneath, and yes, like that. So I can easily write on it. If I had 3D foam under there, it would be a little bit harder. Actually, I needed to move that down, didn't I? I'm gonna put a tree. Actually, I could put a tree there. Okay, now let's grab some more of the dimensionals for our other trees. And other than the prep work for this one, it's gone together super quick. So it's a fun sketch. Definitely could do a lot with it. And I hope some of the other ladies did both pages. Again, if you go and check out their channels and see what they created, I'll put a list of everybody that is participating in the description of this video as well, and you can see what they did with this sketch. And maybe do I need another one? Or I can put one down here. Maybe I'll do that. Hold off on that. I do have some accents that I have pulled out of my stash and that I thought would match. These are the earth tones. I think they're just a little too sparkly. These are actually ombre matte and they have the green in there, so let's hold on to those. These are the pecan pie ones. Again, I don't know, those might be a little too sparkly. And these are a newer one. It's the natural matte dots. Actually, I think I'm gonna go with those because they have the brown and kind of the cream. So let's go with those ones. I want to say this was an online exclusive product, but I'm not sure. We definitely have all kinds of fun things coming out all the time. So you always need to check back on our websites because they're always bringing something new. Okay, I'm gonna add that one. And then the last one, oh, I love this. Like all the little trees, it just reminds me of walking through a forest. Okay, there we go. And let's add this little guy. And then we have our dots. Let me get my pickup tool and see if I want to add a couple of these around. Maybe so they're not like in your face, but you can see that there's a little extra something. Add one up there. Maybe some of the white or the cream ones where the little sections. Okay, I think I like that. All right, I think I am done. If you enjoyed this video, I would love a thumbs up. Make sure you click the subscribe button so you don't miss out on future collabs, and hop on over to the other ladies' channels and check out what they created with the same sketch. Thank you so much for watching today, and I will see you soon.